no way that I'm helping them by creating a false market. I need to, like, that's what my role is to expand the market and get them access to the global economy so that they can earn their way to independence.
Hey, friend. Before we drop into this conversation, I just want to share a little backstory. So, this episode was not planned at all. It actually just started at Newark Airport, of all places, and my travel flustered trying to figure out how to get an Uber with my 12-year-old son, Phoenix, after visiting my almost 100-year-old grandmother. And right there, in the middle of the chaos, I met this woman whose energy just felt like light. We started talking, and within minutes, it was clear we were supposed to meet. Her name is Jeni Dodd. She's a tea importer, an adventurer, and someone who has built her entire life around presence, passion, and aligned action. The dialogue you're about to hear was our very first real, full conversation outside of having just met in Newark Airport. It just flowed. We laughed. We went deep. We talked about healing and intuition, tea, travel, and the beauty of slowing down enough to actually notice life. And she's such an incredible being. It was so mystically aligned. We continued to chat for like an hour after we stopped recording. This just feels like a reminder that inspiration can meet you anywhere, especially when you're just open to the possibilities, even at an airport. And when you're open and you're willing to connect, we can allow those delightful surprises and we can surrender to that aligned kismet. So give yourself a breath, the deepest breath you've given yourself all day. Perhaps pour yourself a cup of tea and enjoy this inspiration of Jeni Dodd, tea, presence, and aligned action. Hi, friend. If you've been dreaming about bringing your women together around beauty, truth, and transformation, this is your invitation. At Goddess of Light curated retreats, the heartbeat is the breath. The sacred space we create is anchored in transformational breathwork, infused with Reiki, and organic homemade meals prepared with care, intention, and love. These retreats are designed to melt armor, restore nervous systems, and awaken the deep knowing that's been waiting just beneath the surface. I offer 3 powerful ways we can co-create. Drop-in facilitator. I join your retreat to lead one potent breathwork and Reiki session or ceremony. This is the perfect way to elevate an already beautiful gathering with deep energetic anchoring. Full weekend presence. I stay with your group throughout the retreat, offering guided breathwork, Reiki, meditations, energy support, and presence, woven into every part of the weekend, including cacao ceremonies. Full retreat facilitation and production. I create the entire retreat for you. The space, the chef, the rhythm, the healing, all of it, every aspect. You gather your women, I hold everything else. This is for leaders who want to nourish and be nourished. For those who know it's time to come together and want to do this with elegance and ease and soul, this is for you. If your heart's been calling for this, you can reach out to me, Siri@sageblushwellness.com, or DM me on Instagram @SiriBaruchThornton. Let's create something unforgettable. Welcome to The Authentic Creative, where we expand our capacity to feel good, one deep breath, one bold choice, and maybe a little bit of magic at a time. I'm Siri Baruch Thornton, healer, creative, and lifelong explorer of all things energy, self-expression, and joy. With over 26 years of experience in Reiki, Akashic Records, and transformational breathwork, I've learned that feeling good is not a luxury, it's a practice. And sometimes it's a little messy. This podcast is here to help you trust your intuition, break the rules, the ones that need breaking, and live more fully in your gifts. So give yourself a deep breath, get cozy, and let's dive in. I am absolutely over the moon excited, delighted, because Jeni Dodd is here. And I will tell you guys, we've already had so much fun. Our energy is kinetic and it's just fireworks. So I was like, we need to record this because we were having a meet and greet follow-up conversation after having met in person recently. And I'll tell you, I was on a trip to visit my 100-year-old grandmother, she's turning 100. And Jeni just happened to be at Newark Airport when I was trying to get an Uber with my oldest son, Phoenix. And we sat next to each other. And I was like, I haven't done this in a while. How do I do this? Am I in the right place? And she was just so kind and so helpful and so generous. And we kicked off a conversation that was really fun. And we just continued it when I was in my Uber, where I was going, and she was going back into New York City. And then we said, we got to connect. We got to do all these things. And then we connected on Zoom the moment I got back from my trip. And I was like, can we please just record this? Because this is such authentic first time meeting. Like, I want to get to know Jeni and I want to get to know all about her tea company and who she is and how she came to be this entrepreneur that she is. If you're watching the YouTube version, you can see this incredible, what I noticed. Is it a painting or a print?
So it's a photograph. By the way, thank you for all of that.
Yeah, like back it up. Let's actually come back to Jeni. Hi, Jeni.
Hi, hi. No, I mean, I feel like it was serendipitous that we met at the airport the way we did because, I mean, there was just hundreds of people waiting for Ubers, and it just, the universe brought us together. That's all I can say. Yeah, so the photograph, it is a photograph of, um, it's the artist that we met in person. My husband and I met in person in Hawaii, and we had seen one of her paintings, which we also have. You can't see it because I'm looking at it. And when we wanted to go and visit her at her home, she invited us in, and she had a copy of this photo on her wall, and I was like, I must have that. I must have it. And it was just like, and she said, okay, but there's only three copies. One is with me, one is at the capital of the state of Hawaii, and now the third one is here in New York City with me. And I thought it was just, it resonated so deeply with me because I was like, that's exactly how I want to live all the time, out loud and full of color.
Yes, I love this so much. I need more people like you in my life, Jeni. So thank you, universe, for attracting Jeni to me. And I'm so curious, where did you grow up? Were you a New York girl from the beginning? Because I know you're on the Upper West Side, right?
I am, and I have been here. We moved to New York City the day I graduated from law school. I got on a plane and came out to New York City. Neither my husband or I had jobs at the time.
Where did you
That
go to
was
law school?
I went to the University of Kansas. I am
Oh,
a
cool.
Kansas girl through and
Very
through.
cool. Very cool.
I have 3 degrees from the University of Kansas. So I'm a Jayhawk, and if anybody follows basketball, they will know exactly what I'm talking about because we are a preeminent basketball team, the Jayhawks. Not so much football, but definitely basketball. And so we moved out here because I had finished law school in London, and I thought I wanted to
Wait,
live in
whoa, hold
London,
on. We gotta back up. Wait a second. Hold on. Wait, so you grew up your whole life before law school where?
Kansas,
Kansas.
entirely.
Entirely.
Born
Got it. Okay.
born there, like everything is there. Yes.
Got it. And then you went to law school in Kansas, and then you ended up doing the rest of your law school or an additional law school in London?
The last semester of law school, I did study abroad in London. So we lived in London for 6 months. And
Okay,
I
that's
thought,
incredible.
well, I mean, it was phenomenal. I love London. And it was, as you can tell, it was sort of really my first true exposure to life outside of
Kansas?
Kansas.
We're not in Kansas anymore.
We are not in Kansas anymore. And so I thought I wanted to live in London, and I figured that being in New York was a better chance of making that happen than actually being in Kansas. But then when we got here, my husband got a job and he liked it here at the time. He doesn't so much like it now. So but
When
we
did you
stayed
meet
here.
your husband?
That would we're getting ready. Next year is our 30-year wedding anniversary.
Wow,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yes,
Wow, that's incredible.
that's a long time to be married.
Yeah. So, how did you meet him in school?
Yeah, we were working on a political campaign,
Okay.
and that's how we met. And there was uh another couple that met on the political campaign as well, and they're also married a year less than us. They got married a year after we did.
Oh,
So
wow.
Not a successful congressional campaign. Our candidate did not win, but very successful in terms of creating relationships. So,
Wow. So that was a beautiful side effect.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
And what
And
does he do?
he while he was here, he was a financial analyst and he was a short seller and managed a hedge fund. And so, but he got burnt out because that's
Mm.
a very stressful career.
Mm.
And he wanted to explore the cannabis space in terms of being on the financial side. So we have a place out
Wow.
in Colorado, and that's what he's working on now.
Wow. Okay. So so you were a lawyer and now you have a tea company and he was in the financial business world and now he's in
Yeah.
the cannabis world.
Yes,
This is
exactly.
so incredible. This is so incredible. And did you guys both make those transitions out of the kind of straight and narrow path to this like more expansive path around the same time, or did you go first, or did he go first?
Well, when in 2003, 2004, I lost all the vision in my left eye. And
Okay. Okay.
I went to the doctor and the doctor's like, "Well, it's either a brain tumor or MS." And I'm like, "Please be MS, please be MS," and which it turned out to
Wow.
be. And they wanted me to go on medication, but I'm afraid of needles, so I was like, is there another alternative? And maybe I need to just reduce the amount of stress that's in my life because it's an autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
And so I thought, being a corporate litigator in New York City was not the least stressful thing I could be doing.
Yeah.
so I decided to, I'd finished law school in London. I had developed some interest in tea because growing up in Kansas, obviously my real exposure to tea was Lipton instant tea,
Sure.
which is a completely different beast than what I do now.
Yeah.
And so I
So
thought, well,
so the tea appreciation came when you were in London.
yes,
Makes
yes.
sense. Got it.
Right. I always say Earl Grey is my gateway tea because like I like just got
I love it.
Earl Grey, and then I just like, I had an interest, and I took a class here in New York City with a woman who had a tea company here,
Okay.
and I started learning. I took some of the classes you could take in the United States, but I really quickly discovered that if I was going to learn anything, I needed to go to countries of origin and meet directly with the growers and producers.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Jenny.
I know. It was like the best thing I could have ever done. I
Tell
mean,
me
honestly.
everything. Tell me everything
Oh my
about
God, it
that.
was so much to tell. I remember, I mean, I just started going to countries, but I had found Taiwanese oolong teas, and I remember the first
Wow.
time I was going to Taiwan because I have what's it called? Synesthesia. So I sometimes will taste tea in color rather than
Whoa.
yeah, and I had this perception of when I was drinking oolong teas from Taiwan that they were very blue, very much like all I could take. Like I was like, it's got to be the sea. I feel like it's the ocean. It's just like it was so blue, and so I couldn't wait to go to Taiwan. And then of course I discovered like, yes, I mean it's an island, so there's ocean everywhere. But it was up in the mountains, which also makes tea better to grow at elevation, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
so, like that was kind of my first big trip to a tea growing region. And then since then, I've been to Japan, to China several times in different areas of China. I've been to Sri Lanka. I've been to India. And then I've developed an absolute love of Nepalese tea. And
Okay.
I was like, I was exposed to it, and then immediately I was like, I have to go to Nepal. And then
Wow.
I started
Wow.
going to Nepal in 2012, and I think I've been there 40 times since then.
Really?
Yeah, I love Nepal. I love the Nepalese people. I love the food. Like everything just deeply resonates with me. And I was having this conversation yesterday with a tea person in Germany, and she feels connected to India the way that I feel connected to
Mm.
Nepal. And we both decided that it must,
Past
and
life.
exactly,
Past life.
yeah, 100%, a
I
hundred
was just
percent.
waiting to I was just waiting to say it because it's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But then in answer to your question is that Robert throughout this whole journey for me was like working hard and making sure we had money and
Your
all of that.
husband's name is Robert.
Yes,
That's my
yes.
father's name. That's my father's name.
Is it really?
Uh-huh.
Well, it's such a like strong name. I always like, and he never goes by Bobby or anything like. It's always Robert. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but
Will you walk us through? I'm so curious about your travels. Like, I want to know what you discovered in each of these countries. Like, maybe just like one thing that like really stands out to you, or that like something that opened your heart, or something that was like a revelation. I love the story about the blue. Like, I'm curious, what those different experiences were. Would
oh,
you mind
there's
telling us? I know there's so much, but like,
so many, but I think I will tell you my first trip to Nepal, and
yeah,
then
okay.
we can go to other things too because I can immediately I thought of 100 things in Taiwan I wanted to talk about in China, and but if I talk about my first experience
Hmm.
in Nepal, it kind of encapsulates my feeling about tea and the connection that it creates for everyone. And
Okay.
so I had met the some tea growers. There's something called World Tea Expo, and I had gone to World Tea Expo. At that time, that one was in right. So that one was in Vegas, which is totally a strange place to have a tea expo, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any
Little
sense.
disconnect.
Yeah, right. And so I went to this thing called the World Origins Tasting Tour, and they had like 8 countries, and each country got to like display 4 teas. I didn't even know that Nepal was growing tea. I knew nothing about Nepalese tea, but I tasted it in that session, and I was like, it just blew my mind. And so it was the white tea from Nepal. I was just like, oh my gosh. I couldn't believe how amazing it tasted. I went to the guys at their booth, and I was like, I love this tea. I want to see if it'll work with New York water, like how it tastes there. Can I buy a sample? And they were kind of disorganized and they were like, here's a bag of some tea. We'll ship you some more tea. And it never happened.
Hmm.
And then I saw those same guys. They came back for another festival in Philadelphia, and I was like, "Hey, where's my tea at?" And they were
Mm.
like, "We're gonna send it. We're gonna send it," and they never sent it. And I
Hmm.
mean, now that I know Nepalese people a little better, like it makes perfect sense to me. Like they want to please you and like tell you like, and then sometimes like maybe they need a little help like with the follow through.
Okay.
And so then I was like, I'm never going to get this tea. I'm never going to get this tea. And the Tea Association of America announced right at that moment, they said, "Oh, we've just organized a tea trip to Nepal."
Wow.
And so I was like, I
I'm
mean,
going.
I'm going, obviously, I'm going. But I figured, well, as long as I'm going to Nepal, I may as well go to Darjeeling, which is right next to the tea growing region in Nepal. So I fly to Darjeeling first by myself, and I arranged to take an airplane from one of their small regional airports in the Darjeeling area in Silguri and take that to Kathmandu. Or, I'm sorry, I was going
And
to
you're
cross.
doing this all by yourself.
Yes,
You're
yes, yes.
incredible. Oh my
Oh
gosh, you're
no,
so incredible.
it was just like I was like, well, of course I was gonna do it. Like it didn't cross my mind to question this plan of mine at all. I was
Yeah.
just like, right, there's just a little airport across the border from the Darjeeling region of India. I can cross over, take that plane the plane directly to Kathmandu, so then I don't have to like go back and waste a day of travel. I can just go directly to
Right.
Kathmandu
Yeah.
in like an hour because that's what it looked
Yeah.
like
Okay.
online. That's
Okay.
what it looked like.
But it was not the case.
It was not the case. So
Okay.
so I get to the border and my visa's intact. the driver of my car, because I paid the tea garden extra to have the driver take me into Nepal and drop me at the airport.
Okay.
And he comes out and he's like, I can't go to Nepal today. And I was like,
Oh.
wait, and of course, being an American, right? I was like, hey, I paid you to take me to like to
Right.
Nepal. Like, you need to take me to Nepal.
Sure.
And he's like, no, you don't understand. Do you know the word strike? And I was like, yeah.
Oh.
And he said, no Indian vehicles allowed in Nepal today. And I
Oh.
was like, oh no. And he said, don't worry, I'm going to take care of it.
Okay.
And and so we drive off to this like little bodega-esque place, and people are yelling at each other and in Hindi, and I have no idea what's going on.
Sure.
And suddenly, like this little tiny car pulls up. I mean, the wheels were like 4 inches wide. Like I really think it was like motorcycle tires. And and the guy gets out of the car, and of course he's wearing aviator glasses, which somehow always makes people look nefarious. I don't know. And he's like, and they're like, get in the car. And I'm like, okay. And then we just sit there and wait. And another guy comes and he
Okay.
gets in the car. So now I'm a woman traveling by myself in a car with two men that I don't know and cannot communicate with.
Wow.
And I was like,
Were you
okay.
scared? Were you scared?
I was scared. I was
Yeah.
scared. And at this time, I still had a BlackBerry. Like that was the phone I had.
Sure.
And so we're driving. I'm trying to like get a sense of, to let someone know where I'm at. There's no possibility of that happening. We're driving and the roads are like there's nobody on the roads. And I'm like, they're really nice roads. This is supposed to be like a poor country. Why would they go to all the effort of paving over these roads and then and not have any cars on the roads? I'm like, this is so strange. And then we just turn onto a dirt road. And I was
Oh
like,
my God. You're like, I'm gonna die.
I am totally gonna die. And I see nothing. There's straw huts. That's what I see. Just straw huts. That's it. And some cows and some people leading those cows sometimes.
Wow.
And we're driving down the road and we get stopped and they exchange money with whoever's on the other side of like who stopped us. And I was like,
Maybe
I
they were buying and selling you.
that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, I've just been sold into slavery. Like, that is exactly and I was like, okay, there's two of them. Like, these are the thoughts that are going through my head. This is two of them, and I cannot take out both of them, but I could like harm one of them at least if I have to. Like, I was like,
Oh
oh
my
my God.
God, hilarious.
And in the like these thoughts are going through my head, and in the distance, I see one concrete building, and I'm like, maybe that's the airport. And we drive to there, and I just like pull my bags out and I run inside the airport. I don't even say anything to these guys because I'm scared of them.
Sure.
And get to the airport. There's no electricity in the airport, so their security is they open my bag and stick a stick in it to poke it. And and I'm like,
Like any animals in there?
yeah, I guess. And I'm like, where am I at this point? And then finally, I get to Kathmandu. My flight's delayed like 2 or 3 hours. I really could have gone to Delhi and to Kathmandu and been like on time. And so I get to the Hyatt in Kathmandu, the only five-star hotel in Kathmandu, because that's where the group is meeting us. And I'm just like, "Oh, I can relax." And the next morning, I'm sitting having my breakfast, very like luxe, and reading the Himalayan Times. And I read about something called a banda, which is the Nepalese word for strike. And they're saying it's another day of the bandas being enforced, and this is a political demonstration because they're trying to promulgate their constitution, and some people are opposed to that.
Mhm.
And so they're enforcing these strikes, which meant no moving vehicles on any roads. And if they found moving vehicles, they were torching them and setting them on fire.
Oh, you were protected.
I was protected. So
Hmm.
I have like since that day, I have felt like I owe I need to pay it back because I
Wow.
didn't realize
Head
how
chills.
yes, and they were putting themselves in danger and their property in danger to
Mm.
get me to the airport, and I
Mhm.
couldn't have been less appreciative of what they were actually doing.
You
And
didn't know. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know, but it's like, but that is so much like the Nepalese people, just to
Mm.
take a guest and make sure that they're taken care of and create this warm, inviting space, which is exactly what tea does for me, is it creates community. Oh, and as postscript,
That
my
was your
group,
first time going there, and you've been there since what did you say, 40 times or something?
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. That's
Well,
so that's so amazing.
and just as like just a little postscript to this.
Yeah.
So when the group got there and we were in Kathmandu for a couple of days, then we all flew back to the tea growing region, which is the airport I had just come from.
Okay.
And when, as a group, we were required to go with a military convoy to be able to travel through the area. So our group had a military escort everywhere that we went.
Wow.
And I just showed up there by myself with my little bag.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm just struck by your adventurous spirit and the way you just make decisions based on your knowing as opposed to being up in your head. And so much of
Yeah.
the work that I do is really about being embodied and making decisions based on our knowing and leaning into what lights us up. And something that I am admiring about you is not only your ability to just decide and know and take courageous action, but also your curiosity and your appreciation for culture and your appreciation for tea and like all of these sensory ways that you're connecting with the tea. It's so beautiful as a way of connecting with culture. When I was on the flight back, I was watching Stanley Tucci's show about Italy, and did you see that yet? The
Yeah, it's so good.
like I
I
just
mean,
love how he's connecting to each region through their food.
I it's such a essential. I don't like it's so fundamental what we drink and what we eat.
Yeah.
And we have the concept in tea in the tea world like other places like the wine world there's a terroir to the tea and people I have this argument with other people in the tea world that there's obviously the concrete factors, the like in the world factors, like the weather, the soil, the water, all of that like is part of the terroir. But to me, the most essential component of the terroir is the human element
How do
because
you spell that word?
terroir, terroir, it's a French
Okay.
word
Okay.
that they use in reference to wine to mean a sense of the place. That's like
Okay.
that's like that's kind of the most basic way, I guess you could say it. I mean, it's very complex. Like but you taste something. That's what Stanley Tucci's doing is you taste something and you get a sense
It's the
of the
way they
place.
treated the cows,
Yes.
the fact that they made them happy, right? The Indian
Yes.
Sikh man that was like making sure the cows were happy and appreciated. That's what made the cheese so good.
I 100% believe in that. I could not think that there's something that more connects you to a culture than the food or the beverage of something that grows in that area.
Hmm.
I don't know how to say it any better than that, but
Hmm.
it's just that it's okay, this is the best example I can give in the
Yeah,
tea world is that
sure.
there's green tea. Everybody's like
Hmm.
crazy for green tea right now because it's good for you. It's
The
obviously
antioxidants.
yes, it's obviously good for you. I mean, and whoever asks me what's the best tea to drink, I'm always like, which one do you like? Because they all have great benefits, but only if you drink it regularly. So you need to find something you like.
Is that your favorite green tea?
I love green tea. I have favorites for different parts of the day.
Regions, yeah. You're
I
like,
love,
I need 100. Yeah.
I know I need so many. I need so many. Um, yeah, but I think that in
The
green tea from
terroir, the
yeah, yeah.
terroir.
the green tea from Japan tastes very different from the green tea from China.
Oh, okay.
And I think that that's cultural. I mean,
Hmm.
I have people who will argue to their death with me about that, but I think it's cultural because in in processing tea, what all tea comes from the same plant. It all comes from the Camellia sinensis plant. And what makes it different is the processing, what makes it green, white, black, oolong, pu'er is the processing and the terroir. And so what the critical step is once you pluck the leaf, you have to stop oxidation at a certain point. Oxidation being like, if you cut an apple and you leave it
Sure.
on the counter, it turns brown. And
Yeah.
that's what's happening to our skin, right? Is we're oxidizing and we try to stop it, right?
Hmm.
But if you take that same apple and you put it in the oven in an apple pie, the pieces of apple are white, not brown. It's
Hmm.
because the heat has killed the enzymes that are mixing with the oxygen in the air for oxidation. So wherever you stop oxidation dictates what kind of tea it is. So
Hmm.
green tea, they apply heat or some type of heat as quickly as possible to stop oxidation really fast so that it can stay very green. Black
Hmm.
tea is oxidized much longer and like in some places like overnight but so green tea in Japan and China are essentially the same. I mean, it's the same. You pick green leaves, you apply heat in some fashion very quickly afterwards, and preserve that green character of the tea. But they taste different because of the way they apply the heat. In
Hmm.
Japan, they use steam. Now, the way the Japanese do most of their vegetables is that they steam them because it creates more of an umami flavor, which is a cultural appreciation of the Japanese people. They've really developed the sense of umami, that sixth sense, that salty, seaweedy like flavor that you can get. And
Hmm.
so their tea obviously reflects that cultural preference towards that flavor. I think it's also I feel like they like the umami flavor because they're surrounded so closely by ocean on all sides of them that's a flavor that they just naturally
Have
have
a
cultivated.
propensity towards,
Yeah.
yeah.
But then in
Well, and we're
China,
mostly made up of water, and we're, what is
yeah,
that connection? Oh my gosh, there's so
yeah.
many, a thousand
There's
things
so
I'm thinking
many. There's
about.
so many.
Okay. Yeah, tell
And
me
so
more.
the in China, they apply the heat to the green leaves in a wok. So they'll like use their hands and they'll put the leaves in the wok and they'll like heat it. And you get that wok hay, that kind of spirit of the wok. It gives it that kind of smoky element to it.
Mm.
And that is the wok is what 4,000 years old in China. Like it's the way that they cook all their vegetables and creating that the spirit of the wok is a cultural element of the Chinese. And
Yeah.
so that's why those teas taste different. Besides just the land, it's because of the culture.
So fascinating.
Isn't I mean, it's so fascinating. A tea is amazing. You take this little leaf. I'm sorry, I get so excited.
No,
You take this
please, please never
little
apologize again for your passion. Please.
you take this little leaf and you can cultivate a relationship with yourself and create good health. You cultivate a connection with other people
It's
and build a
nature.
friendship. Yeah, and you cultivate a connection across the world because the hands that created this tea are in your cup right now, and you cultivate a connection to history. This is a 4,000-year-old plant that they've been making into tea for 4,000 years. You have like this historical resonance with it as well. I mean,
Wow.
it's kind of incredible.
It's so incredible. And your passion for it is incredible. So that's why I'm like, please don't ever apologize for your passion because the way you light up talking about the tea is everything.
Thank you.
I relate to it in terms of just a little bit of dabbling into cacao and doing cacao ceremonies.
I'm so
And
fascinated by that.
I taste the cacao in Peru and I taste the cacao from Guatemala and it's clearly a different experience. And I'm sure
What's
that's
that like?
because of the terroir.
The
Am I saying
terroir. So
terroir?
terroir, yeah.
Terroir. Am I saying it
I
right?
mean, I mean, you're asking a Kansas girl to pronounce a French word, so I don't know like how like how
I love the humility.
But what is that like I love that you can recognize that difference and that you can taste that there is something different. Are you using cacao in different ceremonies now?
Yeah, so I'm drinking it right now. So I use
Yeah.
it to open my heart, right? And it's a heart opener.
Oh,
So
oh,
emotionally available when I drink it, and it puts me in touch with my feelings, puts me in touch with my heart. And there's all tons of benefits with your, brain function and whatnot. But I actually did a tour in Portland, a guy who has a chocolate house, and he's like you, he's so passionate about the chocolate and how it's made and the process, and he showed us and everything. But yeah, like I'll before a breathwork session, we'll have a what we call a glimmer of goddess of light. We'll do a little cacao ceremony, and everyone gets their cup of cacao. And you know what I love that I know you love about tea as well, which is the same with the cacao, is like the way you prepare it, the love you put into it, the intentionality of it, and then holding it and feeling the warmth of the mug. What kind of mug are you going to use? And then sitting in circle with other women and meditating, dropping in, taking them on a little visual journey as they're sipping the cacao. Really like that appreciation and that intentionality, and then putting your intentions into it. And then letting that be this sort of ceremonial, intentional opener of the whole body, really, but dropping us into the moment, into the presence, and then doing our breathwork journey, which a lot of times
that's
people say
incredible.
feels like a mushroom journey. Like they're at the end of the breathwork, they're like, did I just go on a mushroom journey? I'm like, but that's the power of our breath, right? So yeah,
Wow.
I've been using it in that way.
That's amazing. I think you must be getting cacao from people who are growing it and cultivating it with that heart as well.
Yeah, the woman is very similar to you, Mackenzie Marsleff. She lives in Maui, and she calls herself Luana now, and she visits the families in Guatemala and Peru and works with them, and it's all fair trade, and it's all like sustainable, and it's all very much made with intention and heart and love and respect and all of that. Yeah. But I've
Well,
always just, oh, go ahead.
no, I was going to say because one of the things that I only bring in teas where I've gone to the farms and met directly with the growers and producers,
Mhm.
and I only choose things I like. And it's not a great business model because, like, it kind of limits but I also feel like it expresses exactly what I want to do,
Yeah.
which is, like I can only advocate for things that I feel strongly
Yeah.
about.
I think that makes complete sense.
Right, right. And
Yeah.
I just figure the money will follow. If
Yes.
it's gonna happen,
Yes.
it'll follow.
Agreed.
But but there I had this experience where I visited a tea farm, and it was the most beautiful, clean, organized
Was this
factory
in
process.
Japan?
It was in Nepal, and
Oh.
it was like the most beautiful. Like, I mean, it really was a pristine. I've never seen in any of my travels any place that was as well ordered as this factory processing center that they had.
Mhm.
And I drank the tea, and it was fine. It was technically correct tea.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, but it did not have any heart to it.
Hmm.
And that's the thing, is that I think that's so critical, is that I think you can taste it when you have a tea that someone put love and care and passion into creating. It comes through.
Yes. And now we're
And
talking about energy, and we're talking about what I call Reiki, right? Life
yeah,
force energy, chi, prana, intentionality, unconditional love energy, life force energy.
that how long have you been doing Reiki? Because that I think Reiki's incredible.
My mom got into it in Vermont, in the mountains of
Okay.
Vermont, when I was young. And then I've studied it and taught with her and studied with various teachers since I was a teenager.
Wow. Wow. And was it just like a calling to you? Because you do seem very like you seem very open to energy, open to like possibilities, like which you don't find with people all the time. Like I mean, it's I to me it's kind of amazing we even talk to each other because most people don't like to even talk to strangers anymore. And
Yeah.
but you were very open, your spirit was very open and it felt easy to talk to you.
When you travel, don't you find that it opens you up? You have to be present, you have to be
Yeah.
aware. You're dependent on other people around you if you're not sure what's going on, and you're just like, "Oh, is this where I'm supposed to be?" And you were just so helpful. And I think I haven't I used to travel a lot, but I don't travel as much since being a mom. And
Yeah.
we go to England pretty much every summer now because my husband's British.
Oh,
So
he's British.
yeah,
Nice. London or which part of England?
he grew up basically in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a town called Richmond, just
Okay.
outside.
Okay. I actually know where you're talking about.
You, you know Richmond?
Yeah. Only because I saw it on the tube map. That like yeah. But
So I grew up with an appreciation of tea.
oh,
And but not because of my husband, obviously I didn't know him yet, but like, well, not obviously, but my mom and my dad were both in a Sikh yoga ashram. I was born in a Sikh yoga ashram. And
oh,
so we left when I was like 2, but
okay.
but they would make big vats of chai because it was the Sikh culture. And so for me, chai tea is, well, sorry, chai. It's not chai tea because that's saying tea.
I'm I'm so glad you said that because everybody does that.
It's
But
just a habit to say chai tea, but
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
it's just chai.
right.
So that to me is comfort. That is home when I taste chai because of that upbringing I had where they would make the vats of it. And then the Yogi Tea Company, that was, part of that branch of, Yogi Teas was part of my parents were in that kind of movement. So,
Oh,
my mom always had a ton of tea, and we always would make all sorts of herbal teas. And now I have a tea drawer, and then my husband, of course, tea is like their water. I mean,
right.
you either drink tea or you drink wine,
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, exactly. I know it's kind of amazing. I mean, we have in the United States, I think it's because it it's kind of been the focus of our rebellion, right? The Boston Tea Party.
right?
And I think that that's why we don't have as strong of a tea culture as we have
Interesting.
of a coffee culture. And but around the world, I mean, it's the second most consumed beverage after water in the world is tea.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah. Because you're
Got it.
right. Like it's either tea or something else. I mean, it's like in every place I've been, I was in the desert in Morocco, out in the middle of the desert, and we happened upon a tent and we were invited in, and they immediately served us tea because that's how you welcome people. That's what you do. You share a cup of tea, which is
Beautiful.
just beautiful. Yes.
It's so much it's so much the culture. I mean, I haven't traveled in the same way that you've traveled. I've been to like Bulgaria and Canada and I don't know, like Paris and I mean a few places in Europe, but like I haven't traveled like you have. So that's why I'm so fascinated by it. But what I do know from English culture is English culture, as most people know, is just like it's all centered around tea.
Yes. I mean, everything, like you're always gonna have a cuppa. Wherever
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
completely centered, which is why, like, obviously it makes so much sense that that's where I like really developed a passion for tea was at finishing law school there and being exposed to it in a way that I wasn't exposed to it here. And I think it's such a remarkable journey. And I think that tea, you mentioned it earlier, and I was going
Hmm.
to highlight it, is that tea is like it can create that sensory expansion, and you can just pers having tea with something makes that experience better. Whatever it is, it just makes that experience better.
Yeah, it's like
And
heightens it and expands it. And also, what I think, because I've had a conversation with another woman who has a tea company on this podcast previously, and what she talked about was the ceremony of it and the ability that it gives us to slow down. And so
It
much what we talk about on this podcast is about slowing down.
it gives you a reason to be in the moment right now. You just like it's so I having spent so much time in Nepal, I think about the difference between ritual and chore often. Like, what is that? What is that? That like what makes something a ritual versus just a daily chore? I mean, I
Mhm.
get up and I make my bed every day because it just feels good to have my bed made. And
Mhm.
like it's I think that that's the element that you take something that you would do daily and it brings you an emotional feeling, an emotional connection to that moment. And that's what
I
tea
love that.
does.
I love
Yeah,
that.
it just like it brings you here and connects you not only in this grounds you in the moment, but it really connects to your heart in a way that just doing something like any task that you have to do that feels perfunctory versus
Mhm.
like have find and maybe that and like I'm just
It's
kind of
that
ribbing. Yeah,
intentionality.
it's the intention. Exactly what you were talking about. Like I just feel like all of a sudden I'm like lit up about this is that it seems like we could do any of our daily things with the intention of having a joyful connected moment and that just would expand our day so much. So,
Yes. Yes. Like
which
everything
is what you're
being
doing
meditative.
apparently. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I'm doing that. I aim to do that. I notice that the older I get, I'm 47, so the older I get, the more I'm willing to have appreciation for and slow down around rituals like tea. Like I just started a woman friend of mine in Portland who owns a restaurant called Bastion, who I do our Goddess Flight retreats with. She sent me like this tea variety for my birthday, and it has like I think like 12 different little canisters, and it's all
Yeah.
the like loose leaf tea, and then it came with like a mug and a what do you call it, like a sieve. I don't know what the technical tea name is for the sieve, but
That
and
sounds good. Yeah.
and I noticed like my husband around the same time, he has started to do the French press thing with his coffee. Like, so we're both kind of starting to mature, I guess, and just find these ways of like we're just appreciating the ritual of it, of slowing down, of creating it with this consciousness of like, oh wow, like it feels good to just like take time and like make it and let it sit for 5 minutes. So when you go to Smith Maker in Portland, like the actual store, they don't let you take the tea straight away. They make you wait. You have to let it sit, and then you can take it. I'm sure you've had so many experiences where there's a lot of patience involved.
Well, because you want it to develop and you want it, I mean, Girikura tea from Japan comes directly to mind. I don't know if you've tried Girikura tea at
I
all.
don't know that I have.
It's called the brandy of teas. So
Oh,
like Darjeeling sometimes is called the champagne of teas.
oh,
Great marketing. Like um but with Girikura, it's a green tea that's been the last 14 to 21 days they grow in the shade so it develops a sweetness in the very tip of the bud. It's like it concentrates all the flavor in that way.
wow.
And but Girikura, like you'll put a little bit in, like I almost want to show you a Girikura pot. Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah. And I want to ask you also just about the various flavors that are your favorite. And of course, we're going to put links in the show notes of how people can order your tea. I, of course, need to order your tea immediately.
Well,
So
thank you.
we're gonna have a little appreciation moment for your specific tea. And I want to know also, Jenny, how your company, like that you as an entrepreneur, I'm curious about as well. Is like, how did
Yeah.
you decide to start? How did you get started? How did you keep going? Like, what is that process of the business of it? Because a lot of people who listen are entrepreneurs, female
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. So
Oh.
that piece as well, I'm curious about. But
Oh my gosh, there's so much we have to talk
yeah, I
about.
know we need like 10
And
parts to this.
it's like it's so like I just feel so flattered by the fact that you're like interested in what I do. Like, thank you so much for that. Like,
Oh,
I
of
mean,
course.
it's so great because I love to to kind of geek out on these things and
It's fun.
and then I've like exhausted my friends with talking about tea, but like I can't- so
Well,
this
that's why
is
it's important to meet new friends at the airport.
that's right. I mean, everybody should try it. Like, so this is a Girikura pot,
Ooh.
and it's like, got the side handle, and this
Yes.
is a special like heart. But you see, like it's very thin.
Yeah, so
Like
it's at like 2 inches tall,
it's
maybe?
like an inch and a half, maybe, or maybe
Okay.
you're right. Yeah, it's just not very big,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like been stamped in like, and it's oh, I love this little teapot. But you can see like, and then it's got like a little filter here. So
Okay.
you just put a little bit of Girikura in the bottom here,
Okay.
and you let it sit for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to and it has to, have that amount of time to bring out the flavor. And you pour it from this pot, and you might actually get 2 or 3 drops of tea. After
Okay.
all of that,
Okay.
you'll get like 2 or 3 drops of tea, but it just like expands throughout your whole mouth. And it's like the most full sensation you can have. It's incredible
Wow.
that
It's
even
like the
though
espresso of tea.
it's like the espresso with tea. It's just like, but it is like you do have to have like a lot of patience, and you have to accept that like you're gonna get 2 or 3 drops. It's not like us drinking like this huge cup of tea, right? It's
It's
like
not like a vente.
no, it's not. But it
Which I
teaches
think
you
is too much. I'm like, why do you need that much?
that's a lot, right? Like, but yeah, but that's why like it does require so much patience because you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and you get this little tiny bit of liquid, but it's everything.
Mhm.
It's like completely satisfying the whole process
It's
of
like
the
if you have
ritual.
like a little taste of really good chocolate, like you just need that
Yes.
what you just need a bite. That's all you
Yes.
need if it's
That's
good.
all you need. Yeah, because it's just like it's so satisfying because I don't know how it's like this complete experience that
I need to have this experience.
when are
So
you coming back to the East
well,
Coast? We'll have it together.
I'm trying to get you over here to the Pacific
Yeah.
Northwest. Get you to our Goddess of Light retreat so you can do a little ceremony for us
That
in
would be
all your
fantastic.
glory.
Ooh, that would be so fantastic. I was at the Portland Tea Festival this summer, last summer,
Yeah.
and the year before. It's a great tea festival. It's become so popular. It's run really well, and there's so many interests. That it's a tea festival in the way that I like tea festivals, which is that focus is on the experience
Hmm.
and the joy and the ritual of tea.
Mm.
Like those are the things that matter to me. I had a friend who started the Cultural Tea Society in Australia, and
Okay.
I was so lucky to be a keynote speaker at that event at their
Really?
event. Yeah, and it's so phenomenal to be in a group of people who are all focused on, you must experience this with your goddess of light retreats, because like having people who are of the same passion all together
Yeah.
and like really being passionate about I'm happy to talk about the business because that's important. It's important to me for several reasons,
Hmm.
not just my own economic benefit, but also I need to do it to help these people have economic sustainability and independence in their own countries.
Wow,
But
yes.
yeah, but that's like a separate part. But this part of it, of having the passion and sharing it with other people, it's such a rich feeling to have that in your life.
So validating and you're not like the weird tea lady. Like when you go there, you're
Yeah.
amongst your people and you can just
Yeah.
be in the excitement of it and bounce off each other and all of that.
Well, and I'm also finding that so I was never a coffee drinker, never, 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 never. But then I have a friend who who does coffee the way that I do tea, and And she's like, you just haven't had it right. And so she roasted me her
Oh, people and
favorite.
their coffee, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so then I was like, well, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna like do it the way that I do things, which is crazy deep dive and like really learn like what it is that I need to do. So now all of a sudden I have a coffee ritual in the morning too now.
Oh,
And that
wow.
and it's, it was really important to like get the best coffee beans that I could
Mhm,
find. And
mhm.
I started out with the pour over method. So I was weighing the water, pouring the water, like exactly to schedule so I could like bloom it, all of this.
Mhm.
And now I'm doing a mocha pot, but it's like also I had to get the grinder that wasn't electric because I had read that the heat from the electricity will change the flavor of the coffee bean.
Oh,
That like, and I have a very special cup now that I use just for coffee. That's like,
yeah.
which also feels really good to me because I got it in Nepal. So it's like it's material that has a different resonance to me as
Mhm,
well. There's a
mhm.
great book called um uh smaller better or fewer better things,
Okay.
and it talks about being intentional about your objects, and that
Mhm.
having objects around, like having, like you said earlier, having choosing the right cup, like the right that all goes into creating an intentional moment.
Yeah, it's like consciousness. I think this
Yes.
is beautiful. So you've expanded your appreciation from tea into coffee and now chocolate a little and like,
And chocolate and
yeah. So, okay,
And
one,
oh wait, oh sorry,
yeah.
but also now I'm obsessed with cinnamon too. So like it's like
Ooh,
it like kind of like flows over. Like I can't just
it's like
pick out
habit
something.
stacking, but it's like
Yeah,
passion stacking.
yes, yes, yeah. Like I can't just like I kind of wish at this point I could just go into a store and buy something off the shelf and not be like, where did this come from? Who's making this? What is their lives like? But it's just like I don't want anything in my space that doesn't feel like it came from a person.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
Like I
wonder
don't
if there's a name for that. There must be a name for that.
crazy. I don't know.
No, not at all. Honestly, if we were all more like you, Jenny, I think we'd have a brighter, more conscious, more expansive world. So, what I want to know is I want to touch upon the business piece, the entrepreneurial piece for those listening that are female entrepreneurs, and
Yeah.
just find out from you, like maybe a few gems of, the struggle, what that struggle is for you, and then the wins, like what's working, what's helped you as a female entrepreneur in the business space.
There are so many questions there to
I
unpack.
know.
You're a great
It's
interviewer.
a whole episode. It
Yeah.
is. I know.
Um, let's see. I think, you know, some of the challenges that I have faced as a woman in this space, particularly a woman who travels to the countries of origin. Many of the countries of origin are impoverished countries,
Mhm,
if not all of them. I think Japan's probably the exception,
mhm.
is that they're impoverished countries, and a majority of them are very patriarchal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that that has been challenging in an interesting way because obviously if I was a woman in growing up in Nepal, being a Nepali citizen, in that I would have a different role in society
Mhm,
than as a white woman coming into Nepal.
mhm.
And what ends up happening, so it's sort of challenging in that I will have to partner with somebody there. Obviously, I need someone to translate for me too.
Okay.
But um, you know, there runs a risk of anyone who's like working with me, helping to facilitate my trip there,
Mhm.
can sometimes feel like they defer to him.
Sure.
And that's a challenge. But I think that the flip side of it is that it's really good for young girls in those countries to see me as a
Mhm.
woman come in. and have to be treated in a certain way with a certain level of respect.
Hmm.
And that is encouraging to younger women. One of the first girls that I met in Nepal, she was 12 years old when I met her,
Hmm.
and we're just like really close. I always go and see her. I've always like I feel like every time I've been like I've watched her grow up. I
Wow.
encouraged her to go to college. I
Wow.
encouraged her to like continue her education, and she graduated from college, and just this September she started a post college program here in the United States.
Amazing.
And she'll say like it's been helpful to like the knowing that women can go out and do other things is so like I try to take that challenge, and just by me being present, like it's not anything special to me. It's just that I'm there showing that it
Hmm.
can be a different way. And I think that feels really gratifying to do that.
That makes so much sense. What a beautiful example. By you being on your path and being in alignment and speaking your truth and honoring your
Yeah.
gut and just your knowing and
Yeah.
following your spark and being the entrepreneurial woman that you are, you're having that side effect. But it's not just a side effect because you intentionally
Yeah.
have nurtured her.
Yeah, but it's also like I think we kind of sometimes underestimate what you just said of just being who you are and being that person.
Mm.
It can mean something to other people in a way that's profound that we're not expecting.
Yes.
And like that's important to just,
Yes.
I feel like when you're not authentic or true to yourself, like it's so when you're disconnected, you like disconnect from humanity.
Yes.
And so I feel like that's one of the things I always think about is like I can't forget that like just being there, like not doing anything special, unique to me, but just being there is something. And so just showing up is also something, right? Like I think we sometimes have a hard time just showing up because like I mean, I'm guilty of this too. I love to bed rot sometimes, and just like stay in my apartment and not go out. Like I sometimes can't face a day, but like it's important that we do that, like that we go and face the day because it can mean something to people in a way that you don't know. I mean, think about like all the people that like you interact with that they don't know the effect that they've had on you, right? Is
Yep.
that
That's true.
uh, like
That's
I
right.
think we forget how that important that part
We
is
do.
that in the and it matters to be the kind of person to do that. Like we can't make sometimes during COVID is that, of course I was really worried about. I consider like the Nepalese people like my chosen family
Wow.
and so I was so worried about them
Mm.
and there wasn't, I was small business, but I have connections here and I can do things like raise money and I try to keep the raising money part of it. I have a separate website for that apart from the business part because I
Okay,
think it's
let's put that in the show notes too.
yeah, okay. I definitely because I think it's really important for to respect the humanity of the people and their work and their desire to be independent and to be taken as their own entity and not to do this in the patriarchal way that the West sometimes does things, which
Hmm.
is like we're giving you this, and so we can still kind of stand above you. Like I want to keep the business part of it very
Right.
separate.
Right.
And so it has to be sustainable on its own. And that's
Hmm.
that's really critical to me is that the business part of it has to maintain its own independent existence
Okay.
because there's no way that I'm helping them by creating a false market. I need to like that's what my role is to expand the market and get them access to the global economy so that they can earn their way to independence. That
Wow, I
being
love this integrity, and you have such a mission. It's so much
is
bigger than
really important.
tea.
It's much bigger than tea. Like I feel so dedicated and committed to being part of that solution as opposed to like I'm not trying to be judgmental or anything, but there is like an element of poverty porn almost. Like I don't even know how to say it any better than that, is that like that somehow makes us feel better that we can like help people and
Sure.
like and that somehow makes us feel superior, and I don't want that part of it. Like I
Sure.
that's not what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Very interested
It's like
in
people who adopt for the wrong reasons.
yeah, yeah. And I think that it's trade not aid in the business part of it for me. It's trade not aid. That being said, there's only so much, like there are infrastructure issues and bigger issues that one farmer can't address by just working his way out of it. So I am sensitive to that, and that I have access to raising money and doing things in a social way that are helpful to people that they couldn't do on their own. And so, but so that being said, is that even still, like I'm still only like one person in a
Mhm.
small company.
Mhm.
So I try to choose my projects really in with a lot of intention
Yeah.
to do the things that I can actually accomplish
Hmm.
and that will have a direct impact. So what I'm giving is I will facilitate and I'll like eat like things like, credit card fees and all of that that go like that's my contribution, as well as I give a lot of money too. But then I make sure that the money that I raise goes directly to those people on the ground, and then I make sure I like so one of the things I did was one of the school in the little village that one of my partners is in didn't have desks, and so these kids were walking 2 hours each way to school, and they would get to school and they wouldn't have anywhere to like actually study. They just have to sit on the mud floor. And so um my partner there was like, I was like, how much do these desks cost? And he
Hmm.
was like, I think it'd be like 50 or 60 US dollars. And I was like, how many do you need?
Hmm.
And he was like, it would be really great if we could get 60 of them in the school. And I was like, done. Like I can, that's achievable. Like I can do that. And we raised the money in like 2 days and we bought all the desks. And that was like, it's a
Incredible.
little tiny thing, but it's like important,
That's
right?
huge.
And and then during COVID, like what I really was like worried about was like people getting sick and not having access to oxygen, the same thing we were
Hmm.
like have had here. But I can't get oxygen tanks. But what was also happening at that time was, because nobody was like leaving and going out and going to work, is like farmers were growing food, and it was sort of not being able to, they didn't, because nobody was working, they couldn't go and buy food,
Hmm.
and so the food was just sitting there, and there was people who were hungry. So I just raised some money and we bought the food and we provided 1,000 meals. And like it's small because it's Nepal and it's not expensive, but I paid it directly to the farmers, and then they were able to like, then they could like disperse the food, so the farmers got paid and the people got to eat. And it's like
Wow.
small little things that
You're
like
creating these connection bridges of huge sustainability with just with a big heart of service. And you're saying it's small, it's small, it's small, but all I'm hearing is that's massive, that's huge, that's
oh,
amazing,
thank
that's
you.
incredible. And thank you for sharing it because that's so inspiring. Thank
Oh,
you for doing the work that you're doing, Jenny.
well, no, I'm gonna cry because like it's too much attention on me. It's more about like it's more about like like like, I just you see people, and don't you think this is the thing with travel also, is that you see people and you see how we share all of that, like the families across the world, they want to feed their kids, they want to have a place to house their
We all have the same
family.
basic
We
needs.
have the same basic needs, and
Yes.
people, like this demonization of other groups is just like
Yes.
has like we are lacking that connection right now. And when you travel, you can't like you said, you have to rely on people. Like I
Mm-hmm.
had to rely on the kindness of those strangers that I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even thank properly. and 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 you see that like we're all in this together, and whatever we can do to help each other, we should be doing.
Yeah,
And
that shared humanity.
yeah, yeah. I don't. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you,
You
and
do not look older than me.
shut up. You're
Oh
so
my
nice.
God.
Wait, I'm just gonna hang out with you all the time because you're so flattering. Like
I
it's
mean, come
amazing.
on.
Like, um, and
It must be the tea. It must
it's
be the tea.
I think
So,
it's the change. Oh, by the way, I have never had to be on any MS medication, and I think it's because of the tea.
wow.
Yeah, I made a deal with my doctor that because I didn't want to take medication, and I said, any, I will just keep trying to reduce stress and handle this autoimmune disease in a way that is, stress reductive is my focus,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
And that way, if something is, if I come back to you and you tell me, okay, this is the time you have to go on medication, then you have to go on medication. And we made that deal.
Okay.
And my husband was really nervous because
Of
he's like, this
course.
is the best, like MS doctor in the world, and you're
Hmm.
gonna like tell him how to manage your care. And I was like, well, if he's not going to listen to me, he's really not the doctor for me anyway,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm
There you
not,
go.
you're right. And so, but so far, knock on wood, it's like, I've been really lucky. I've like, but I think it's the tea, and I think it's the community that I've been able to, and the support. And it's not like,
And
okay,
it's
that's not,
and what I see is your self-determination and your sovereignty and your ability to think for yourself and your heart of service. Like all those things I think are very integral to this as well.
yeah, thank you again. I mean, like, I really like, oh, wow, this is so great. I feel truly honored by all of this. Like,
Okay, so we haven't mentioned much about like what are the flavors of tea that you have in your company? How do you have a catalog? Do we go online? Is it on Instagram? Like, I want people to be able to access this.
oh, thank you. So I have a website, and I have mainly I've been trying to do wholesale tea because like I need to, because I want to help the farmers and the growers and the producers. I'm trying to like buy as much tea and move as much tea as I can.
Okay.
But everyone's always asking me for retail tea. So I have some selection on my website of some of the retail teas. And I focus primarily on single origin tea. So I don't usually do flavored teas. I have the exception would be this amazing jasmine tea I get from China, which is just like nobody smells it and doesn't just die. Like they're just like it's so good. Like it's so incredible. Like and it made me want to have a scented tea in my catalog because I was just like this is too incredible, and the story behind it, how it's made, is unbelievable as well. It takes 30 days to make this tea, more than 30
Wow.
days, because they will pluck only the small bud, which means they have to pluck a lot more to make the volume of tea. When you're making tea, green leaf, usually the ratio between the green leaf to finished tea is like 4 to 1, 5 to 1, but with bud, it's more like 8 to 1.
Okay.
And so it sounds like I always when I talk like this, it sounds like I'm dealing in drugs. And like
It's
but so
it's
they will
nature's drug.
it is nature's drugs. My
Yeah.
friend who is the doctor at the MS center here, she prescribes green tea
Mm.
because it's good for you. It's anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
So they will take this bud, they'll grow it, and then they'll process it as green tea. And that's in March because that's when the tea is that's best. They
Okay.
hold on to it until August, which is the hottest month of the year,
Hmm.
and they will pluck jasmine flowers during the hottest part of the day, which is between 12 and 5, so that the blossoms are their most open, the most fragrant, the most beautiful that you can possibly get. And they will put all of the flowers into the tea, and they will scent the tea overnight. And then they go through and they pick out each of those flowers. And
Wait, when you said sent the tea overnight, what does that mean?
that means, like if you have a flower next to something, tea is
Yeah.
a very absorbent material.
Okay.
So like if it's better than bacon,
It holds the smell of it.
yeah, it holds the smell of it. Like if you have tea leaves that you've used and you put them in the refrigerator, they're actually better than baking soda and absorbing odors. So like
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's very absorbent. And so they'll scent the tea with the flowers, then they'll
Okay.
pull out the flowers because the flowers can sometimes get a little bitter. They'll pull out the flowers, they let the tea rest a night or two so it
Hmm.
can really absorb that aroma. And then they do the whole process over again another 15 times.
Whoa.
It's pretty remarkable. It's like it's a phenomenal tea. So that tea is on my website. I have some pu'er tea, and then of course I have Nepalese tea. My best-selling tea is the Shangri-La Gold. It is a remarkable tea. It comes from my favorite tea producer in Nepal. I feel like he's one of the most ethical people I know. He takes care of the people who grow the tea around his tea processing factory. And he does things like, you know, in order to be certified organic, which is something we expect, we think that that makes it better,
Hmm.
is that that requires people in Nepal to pay a lot of money to be certified.
Sure.
It requires them to be able to pass the inspection, which is not problematic, but completing forms for people who have not perhaps finished a high school level of education is more challenging.
Hmm.
And keeping all the paperwork and all the documentation and making sure and staying up to date. So this tea producer, he does that for all the tea growers. So Nepal's a little different. Like in India, there'll be one big garden that's owned by one entity or family or person,
Hmm.
and then they hire people to pluck the leaves. In Nepal, they have small plots of land where the families are growing not only tea but also their vegetables and their food that they're sustaining themselves on. And so you have to,
Okay.
like, as a producer in Nepal, like, you have to collect green leaf from different places. And so this producer for the Shangri-La Gold he makes sure everybody's certified organic so that he takes care of all of that for them so that they don't have to worry about it.
Oh,
Which
wow.
is really it's really fantastic.
Wow.
And so but this black tea, it's a black tea, and it's the tea I drink every morning. It's
Hmm.
like I love this tea,
Hmm.
is that it's I sometimes explain it as like it's a lot like a Nepalese person, this tea,
Hmm.
because it's
Makes
incredible.
sense.
Yeah, it's very accessible. It's warm, it's inviting. You feel at home when you're drinking it, but there's still something very mysterious about it and unknown that you can't quite get the full picture. It's got a mystery to it. So it's a beautiful tea with some like a little bit of cacao note to it. And the thing that I specifically look for, because when I stay there at this tea garden, I will come out of my room and I'll have tea, and I'll be surrounded by this rose garden that they have there. And then beyond that is all the green tea growing. And then just beyond that is the Himalayan range. So it with its
That
snow-capped
sounds like
mountains.
heaven.
It's a Shangri-La. It is a Shangri-La. I mean, it is phenomenal. And so, but when I find his production that has the hint of a rose note to it, I that's the tea that I buy and bring back. And that's the tea.
I love rose so much. Rose is one of my absolute favorite
Isn't it?
smells.
It's
And
so
the
good.
thing with roses is, as I'm sure you probably know, is that roses energetically are like the most powerful energy. A rose is so sticky, it holds energy, it can disperse energy, it can break up energy. I saw some study recently online that was about women who use the smell of rose are healthier, they live longer, something like that.
Seriously?
Because of the properties of the rose.
I
Yeah.
had no idea. Okay, so it's can you explain that again? Because I think that I would really like to know what's going on there.
I am so not the scientist about I mean we can look it up, but I so
I'm making a note to myself.
what I'll tell you what I here's what I do know in terms of
Okay.
spirituality and energy is that I worked with a meditation teacher for about a decade. He's passed, Michael Tamora. But what we would do a lot of the time is use roses. So visually, we would, and I take my clients through this for years with Akashic record readings or spiritual work or spiritual tools, what have you, is visually creating a rose and that it is absorbent and sticky and that you can put anything energetically, visually, historically, emotionally, ancestrally into the rose and then explode the rose. And then this is a way of, I've seen it every single time, feeling lighter, freer, releasing any of those energies. So that's just a visualization of a rose. That's not the actual rose. I think the actual rose, the essence of it, the smell of it, is really what's even equally as powerful, if not more powerful, because of the properties of it, something that it does chemically with the brain. I don't know the science behind it, so we can look it up.
Yeah,
But that,
I'm really fascinated by that
yeah.
because
I
I
mean, and
don't
just looking at the rose obviously
is beautiful.
is a healing.
Well, I don't know. Are you familiar with the Little Prince story?
Yeah.
Because the rose is the focus, right? And his like taking care of his rose
Yes.
and then go and like the journey of learning why his rose is important to him
Oh my
is
goodness.
is
Yeah.
like critical, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole essence of the
Yeah.
story is that,
I
you know,
completely forgot this, but yes, yes, yes.
yeah, yeah, it's what we put our intention and our love to is actually what makes it the most important. It's what, and I think I wonder now that I'm thinking, I'm gonna
And
start
it's the
thinking out
energy
there.
of the heart, the rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that just like that makes me wonder if like that was a purposeful choice by Antoine Saint-Exupéry that to use a rose as opposed to any other thing that we could have put our focus and
By
energy
any other
intention on.
name could
Yeah.
smell so sweet. Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to find my chart. It's not here. But yeah, heart energy, heart center.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So before this becomes like a 2 hour, I don't even know how long we've been talking. But yeah, just over an hour. So
Oh my
before this
gosh.
becomes like a 2 hour episode, just for
Yes.
the just for the sake of our listeners, maybe okay, so first of all, Jeni is going to be on our next panel. In not our next one, our next one's in October, but the one after that in November, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's very exciting. So you guys can tune into the November panel. She's going to be on that. So the name of the organization where you help the women in Nepal is called
I help Nepalese, not specifically women, but I do focus on women. It's not like
okay.
it's all I don't like, but it's called Cultivate and it's CULTUV and the number 8.org.
Okay, so we'll put
Cultivate.org.
that. And then the link for your particular tea that we can buy individually is
It's at my website, which is www.jeni, Jeni, Doddttea.com. So jennydodd.com. Jennydoddtea.com. Like a website.
we'll put that in the show notes.
Okay.
So you guys can have that. And just one last piece here, Jeni, is obviously we could do 10 episodes, but the piece that I want to look at before we close is expanding our capacity to feel good. And maybe this is a separate episode, but just the first thing that comes to your heart when I say expanding your capacity to feel good in relationship to your passion in the world, what comes to mind? And then we'll close on that.
I I, I think it's all in that cup. The it's it's I think I've said it before, and I don't want to repeat myself too much, but it's like it is like that capacity to feel good comes from the cultivation of that relationship to that moment that you share with tea. It's just if everything about that cup of tea expands my universe. So it's like in this little cup is everything.
The world. Yeah, it's like microcosm. And I
Yeah.
love how you talked about in the beginning about that you could taste the blue.
Yeah.
And I
I think,
think that's something to explore more in another
well,
conversation as well.
I have a whole program on sensory expansion, and it's an art tea program. So
Okay.
I will use pieces of artwork and the aesthetic values in the artwork to explain the aesthetic values in the tea so that we can take this sensory journey together.
Wow.
Yeah, so it is a lot. Sorry, that was
That's
my
amazing. But that brings us full circle to the picture behind you and the
yeah.
visual arts and the being present and expansion. And obviously, we were so synchronistically meant to have this conversation. So thank you. To be continued, guys. Thank you so much for taking this journey with us. Please, please, if you have anything that resonated with you, anything that felt good, anything that you're curious about or you're confused about, please feel free to reach out to me or Jeni. Let's further the conversation. Of course, go ahead and get yourself some of her tea if that's something that's interesting to you, or support any of the work that she does. And just being in touch with her if you want to be in her world, if you want to support any of her missions that she's on. And, as I said, she's going to be on our panel in November, which is about having sacredness as opposed to sacrifice. So sacred in the face of sacrificing ourselves, right? So like taking anything that feels like obligation or anything that feels like we're doing it out of guilt or should, and really coming back to something that I think Jeni exemplifies is this kind of sovereignty and thinking for ourselves and really honoring our own wisdom and our own intuition, so much so that she's continuously overcome MS with just being who she is and honoring herself. So I think that's so inspiring. And I'm so, so grateful to universe, God, Buddha, all the mystical forces that we got to align. And also, I just said to Jeni, like, we hopped on today and I was just like, hey, can I record this? Because I'm having so much fun and this is so good. And she's like, sure. And a lot of people wouldn't jump in like that. So thank you for that. I appreciate you just like jumping in and being like, sure, a yes person. And lots to be continued. We'll see when and if Jeni can come to one of our Goddess of Light retreats. If you guys are interested in coming to our retreat, I'm going to see what I can do to get her to one of them. And I appreciate you guys for listening, loving you. Keep expanding your capacity to feel good. Thank you so much, Jeni.
Thank you so much. This has been a joy to me. Thank you so
You're
much. Thank
so
you.
welcome. All right. To be continued. Bye for now. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.
I am still smiling about that conversation with Jeni Dodd. We laughed a lot. Takeaways. The difference between a chore and a ritual is presence. You can taste the energy of love in tea, cacao, art, and everything we create. The culture behind what we consume is just as important as the ingredients. Slowing down does not make life smaller. It makes life richer, more vivid, more alive. Aligned action often begins with curiosity and a willingness to say yes. This dialogue brought me so much closer to an even deeper appreciation of tea and of friendship. To trust your timing, say yes when life hands you a little magic. And I hope you enjoyed this. Loving you. Do you ever feel like you're pouring out for everyone else while your own well runs dry? Do you long for a space where you can stop performing, stop managing, stop holding it all together, and simply be held? That is what the Goddess of Light retreats are for. For 3 nights on the banks of the Sandy River at Mount Hood, you're invited to lay it all down, to breathe deeply, to let the noise fall away, and to remember the part of you that's radiant, whole, and free. You'll be nourished by Chef Marne and the Bastion team with meals that feel like medicine. You'll be opened through sound and Reiki with Dawn's healing vibrations. You'll be moved to tears by the music of Lola Christine and Megan Sky. You'll be held in ceremony, breathwork, sisterhood, and laughter that remind you what it feels like to come alive again with me. This is not just a little getaway. This is a homecoming, a chance to release the exhaustion, the self-doubt, the constant doing, and to walk away anchored in joy, confidence, and a circle of women who sees you. Upcoming dates, March 15th to 18th, 2026, May 3rd to the 6th, and October 4th to the 7th, 2026. Spaces are limited because the circle is intimate by design. If your heart is whispering yes, answer it. Reserve your place. Link in the show notes. Come home to yourself. Come be a part of the light. Today's conversation stirred something in you. Here are a few ways we can go deeper together. So the Authentic Creative Podcast, where you are now, make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss more conversations like this. And if you loved this one, share it with a friend who needs to hear it. Goddess of Light Retreats, sacred gatherings in Mount Hood Village, Oregon, along the Sandy River, where we step away from the noise and remember ourselves through breathwork, Reiki-infused ceremony, sisterhood, nourishment. You can explore upcoming retreats, link in the show notes, or go onto Instagram at Siri Baruch Thornton. Find me, email me, however you want to do it. Let's get on a conversation about that. One-on-one work for private Reiki, breathwork, Akashic sessions where we can go right into your unique medicine. You can connect with me directly. And then coming soon, Zoom community. This is going to be a low-cost circle for breathwork, cacao, spiritual tools, soul-deep connection from anywhere in the world. So you can reply to this, reach out to me once again. Thank you for being here, for listening, for expanding your capacity to feel good alongside me. I'm sending you love, and I can't wait to connect again soon. Loving you.